Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Bridget Bjorlo. Tonight, we're learning more about the deadly plane crash in Washington, D.C.
It's one of the deadliest plane crashes in recent years, and 2 people on that flight had connections to our state. Salvage crews removed a large portion of that American Eagle jet from the Potomac this afternoon. The NTSB says it will take several more days to remove the rest of the plane wreckage before they begin removing the Black Hawk helicopter wreckage. The military chopper collided midair with the American Eagle flight last Wednesday night, just moments before the plane was set to land at Washington's Reagan National Airport. 67 people died in the crash.
And we are learning more about the people who died in last week's midair collision near Reagan Airport. 2 coaches who spent time in Connecticut are being remembered at the ice rink that they coached at here in Simsbury.
Fox 61's Kay Pattyfoot was at the vigil where most people had a special connection to coaches Jenya and Vadim.
The ice skating community is coming together, especially here in Simsbury at the International Skating Center of Connecticut after last week's tragic aircraft collision at Reagan Airport. 2 well-known Russian skaters and coaches on that flight had close ties to this arena and spent many of their time in Connecticut training skaters.
Jenya and Vadim were like second parents to so many children in this community.
Figure skating coaches Yevgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov were among the dozens who died in the mid-air collision near Reagan Airport. They were on board the passenger plane traveling from Kansas to Washington, D.C. when the plane collided with a military helicopter. Monday afternoon, former students, friends, and coaches came to the International Skating Center of Connecticut in Simsbury for a special tribute.
Here today to honor all of the skaters that were on the flight to DC, and specifically for Vadim and Jenya, who were coaches here.
All around the country, ice skating rinks held a similar honor for those lives lost, honoring a moment of silence at 3:35 p.m. for 5 minutes. Some say the 2 coaches impacted their kids in ways they couldn't imagine.
The discipline and the love that they got from Vadim and Jenya, as well as the other coaches that were at this rink, all closest to friends, that has stood them in good stead as adults. And now they're young adults. And all 3 of my kids actually took lessons with Vadim and Jenya when they were really little.
Anna Zuckerman-Devenko didn't know coaches Evgenia and Vadim were big in the ice skating world, but she knew they really were talented, especially when it came to choreography on ice.
And it was so special, and the style and their edging and the way they taught it to children, and then to my children as they became teenagers, it gave them a lot of inner strength and confidence and presence on the ice, and they always were in their court. They always wanted them to succeed.
Monday's vigil was emotional for a lot of people, especially for Anna Zuckerman-Devenko, who told me Coach Jenya and Vadim were like second parents to her now adult children. She said that she hopes more people will continue to skate in their honor. In Simsbury, Kay Pattyfoot, Fox 61.
Thank you, Kay. More remembrances across the state tonight. Another vigil held in West Hartford to honor the victims of the plane crash. Veterans Memorial Ice Skating Rink invited ice skaters and coaches in the community to remember the lives lost on Flight 5342. Mourners gathered on the ice as a sign of remembrance. We will, of course, continue to follow this story out of Washington, D.C. as the investigation continues. Download our free Fox 61 app for news alerts or go to our website, fox61.com.
Turning now to the weather, all is quiet, at least for now, after the snow we woke up to this morning.
Yeah, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank now for a first look at the forecast. Rach?
Yeah, breezy but calm otherwise heading into the day tomorrow. But we do have a weather impact alert looking ahead to Thursday. And this is just a heads up for some travel disruptions. And this time around, we are not just looking at snow, but a burst of snow transitioning over to a wintry mix, maybe some ice. And then eventually we might even finish finish as rain in parts of the state. So I would say this is definitely going to affect the Thursday morning commute, and it may continue into the afternoon and even evening drive, depending on when the timing of that changeover takes place. So at least the morning drive, maybe the evening drive. With a little bit of luck, we'll transition over to rain by then. But I think at least school delays, maybe some closures. So I know that parents have to start thinking about planning that kind of stuff now. We're going to talk more about that in the days ahead. We've got some rain to the north of us. Not an issue for us tonight. Temperatures also stay above freezing. The numbers out there right now will actually hold steady, which is something we don't normally see at night. Normally it gets colder. So temperatures holding steady towards daybreak. Any early clouds break for sunshine. It's a breezy day with highs up around 40 degrees. And then we turn colder as we head into tomorrow night. And that will help set the stage for our next winter storm. We'll talk more about it. Your full forecast coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. The Office of Inspector General has released its report on last week's officer-involved shooting in New Haven. That shooting sent two police officers from West Haven to the hospital and ended with a suspect dead inside an apartment. The Inspector General's office has released new body cam footage of the deadly police-involved shooting in New Haven, marking the first officer-involved shooting of 2025. Two officers were shot while trying to serve a warrant at an apartment on Grand Avenue in the early morning hours of January 29th.
Police with a search warrant! Police with a search warrant, come to the door! Police with a search warrant, come to the door! Police, police!
West Haven police officers and members of a DEA task force can be seen entering the apartment, and there they confront a woman who is moved aside before officers approach Aaron Freeman, peeking out from behind a bedroom door.
I saw you tucked in the room, get out! Come out! Come out! Okay, you're okay. Show me your head, show me your
After that exchange, video shows Freeman firing several shots at the officers, hitting Officer Robert Rappa in the leg. He gets into the nearby bathroom for cover and calls out to his colleagues.
Rappa! Rappa, where?
Video from another officer's body cam shows him taking shelter in the nearby stairwell and exchanging gunfire with the subject. Officers then bring in the West Haven Police Special Response Team, armed with long guns and safety shields. Sergeant Joseph Reel can be seen with his shield up and at the ready before another round of gunfire from Freeman. Sergeant Reel returns fire but staggers back and calls out for the officers to get him out. State Police Major Crimes found a gun near Freeman's body. His autopsy confirmed the cause of death as gunshot wounds of the torso and extremities, and his manner of death deemed a homicide. Inspectors have not yet released toxicology results. The Inspector General is working with numerous departments to finish the investigation and come to a final conclusion on the officer's use of deadly force.
And tonight we are learning new information about a deadly police-involved shooting last year in Ansonia. The Office of Inspector General says the man officers shot and killed did not have a gun on him at the time of the shooting. The report says Jonathan Bell was shot several times after leading Bridgeport police on a chase. This happened on February 4th, 2024, almost 1 year ago to the day. The chase ended with Bell crashing into a house in Ansonia. After officers pulled a woman out of the car unharmed, they fired at Bell in the driver's seat. The report says there was a pellet rifle in the back of the SUV and two pellet pistols in the spare tire well, which were also told were all out of Bell's reach. The Inspector General report said the officers' actions were flawed and whether the shooting was justified remains in question tonight. It also said there was not enough evidence to support criminal charges being filed. And following the Inspector General's report, Bridgeport Police released this statement saying, quote, the department acknowledges the findings of our Inspector General's report and is committed to thoroughly reviewing the identified issues. The Bridgeport Police Department continues to educate and provide training to our officers.
New Haven Mayor Justin Elicker laid out his plan for the years to come in his State of the City address tonight. He touched on a variety of topics from crime rates to education, the economy, and housing. And so here were some of tonight's highlights. Mayor Elicker said the overall number of firearm-related incidents went down by nearly 25%, and vehicle thefts were reduced by 15% in the past year. The mayor says more than 300 cameras have been installed across New Haven with a goal of 500 total. The city will begin to install red light and speed safety cameras this year near schools and dangerous intersections. As for housing, the mayor says more than 1,000 new housing units were implemented this past year, with more than 40% of them affordable. But Mayor Elicker says there's more to be done, as a new statewide report revealed the state needs 110,000 new housing units to meet the current demand.
Residents who are on fixed incomes, like our seniors, or who are struggling just to pay their current rent, will be pushed out of their homes. In other words, if we do nothing, if we don't build, our residents will suffer greatly. That is why we must grow, so that we can keep affordable housing available in our city.
Looking at education in New Haven, Mayor Elicker said the city is expanding career opportunities for students. He also says there are nearly 700 active small businesses across the city.
Region 15 public school superintendent faces DUI charges after police say he drove into a pole in Plantsville last month. This is the aftermath of that crash. Officials say Joshua Smith was driving on Mulberry Street at 1 a.m. Investigators found he did not follow the curved roadway and he drove into a pole, which catapulted him to a crashed parked car. Smith said he's okay right after the crash. We're told he told Region 15's Board of Education exactly what happened. The board posting on Facebook in response to this saying, quote, Mr. Smith has served Region 15 for 7 years and has demonstrated a track record of successful, trustworthy leadership. The board is confident that Mr. Smith will continue to lead our district with excellence and integrity, end quote.
Manchester police are investigating a deadly car crash that happened this morning just after 10:30. Police were called to a spot near West Center Street. Officers found a 60-year-old man crashed into a pole there. The man was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Manchester police are asking if you saw this happen or know anything about what happened, give them a call.
And new here at 10, a Willimantic man who stole dozens of guns is pleading guilty. 37-year-old Fitzpatrick Duffy pleaded guilty to stealing 38 firearms from a Newington gun store. This was the scene back in May 2023 when police were searching for Duffy. They believe he stole firearms from Hoffman's Guns for the Good Guys right off of the Berlin Turnpike. Duffy will be sentenced in April. He faces 20 years behind bars.
And do you know this man? New Milford police need your help identifying him. Officials say he broke a glass door at a church on Saturday. Police shared these surveillance photos with Fox 61. Before 10 p.m., police say the man broke the door at Faith Church and went inside. Nothing's been reported as missing or damaged. If you know anything about him, you are asked to call New Milford Police.